That is Melissa
Yes.
Oddessa, the IBO Bantamweight champ, 5-0 with 2 KOs, fresh off of her June 19th win over Salgado, which she did win her first world title at the Bantamweight division. What's going on, Melissa?
Hi, can you see me?
Try
I
to
can
turn your
see-
phone
yeah.
to the side so that way we could get a better
Good
view
job,
of you.
dude.
Raise it up a little bit so that you're in vision for your headshot. There
I
you
can't
go.
see me.
So we can see how the shirt matches
There
the
you go.
hair.
Perfect.
and
I like
it's
that.
all, yeah, there you
No,
go.
flip the
Oh,
camera.
yeah, there it is. Perfect.
Okay, now I see me. Hey.
Yeah, you listen, for those that don't know, I gave the breakdown, and you just did beat Salgado. Well, not just beat her, you won the unanimous decision in pretty much what was a routing. It was a perfect performance on almost every judge's scorecard. But how are you doing? How are you feeling after the world title win? How's everything going?
Well, I felt really great because honestly, that fight was a sparring session for me. So I jumped right back into training on Monday because I was supposed to have a MMA fight that unfortunately fell through. But man, I've been learning a lot about my own body, and I never thought that coming back after career-ending injuries and being 34, almost 35 in October, I'm like in the best shape ever, and everything's starting to click. And I'm like, damn, my opponents are fucked.
That's exciting, Melissa.
It really is, because I honestly was starting to wonder, like, will I hit a plateau or wall for how long I've been out? How far will I be able to get better? Because I know mentally I'm the baddest mofo around, but physically my body can only do so much now. But I'm actually getting in better shape than when I was in my mid-20s, and I'm a more intelligent fighter. So I think it's because I'm making like smarter choices instead of harder ones.
I have a question for the most dangerous woman at 118 pounds. Very recently, I saw Shannon Courtenay say that she will not give Ebanie Bridges the rematch. What do you think about that?
I think it's whack. I don't think it's a champion mindset, because you want a really close fight that people will argue, could have gone either way. And a lot of people feel that Bridges deserves it because she did the headbutt. I feel that she does deserve the rematch after she has a few wins. But man, I hate talking about Courtney, because I'm like, she's not a champion to me. She shouldn't have the belt. Like, she's good for a starting point, because we all need a starting point. But man, let us knock her off the block and keep it moving, and let like top dogs go at it. But
she not gonna fight you, dog. She not gonna fight you, dog. Like,
well, if she ain't gonna fight you, we did have Ebanie Bridges on, and we talked about y'all's fight, or y'all fighting possibly. She did mention that y'all are friendly with each other. What would you think about a fight with her?
I believe I had tweeted like a while ago, people keep sleeping on her, and I think that her and I could possibly, with her having a little more experience, we can have one of the most explosive fights you've seen in women's boxing. Because the thing about her and I is, you're going to get good banner, because I actually believe she can fight, and she's proven it. So I don't really have any shit to talk when it comes to her. But what I will say is, this one isn't going to be yours, because I'm going to stand toe-to-toe with you, and I'm going to show you who the alpha is. So it's going to be a mix of pride. It's going to be a mix of talent. And it's going to be about who is the better fighter and who could push their will if we match up.
All right, I got a question. Very recently, I saw that the Brooklyn Zone Amandia Serrano said that her upcoming fight with Mercado is a bigger fight than the Katie Taylor fight. Is that bullshit, or is that not bullshit?
So, mira, fake Tio Serrano, right? Serrano. This is my thing about her. She turned pro around a time where technology was still kind of new. You couldn't look things up the way you can now. So you can trick the average fan into, oh, I'm this and I'm that, but they don't look at the details behind it. Because with women's boxing, it's not hard to be within the top 10. It's not hard to get a world title fight. So here she is presenting herself one way, but she's used to being able to just spit bullshit and people buy it because they can't research it. It's not the same way anymore. Now you're being put on blast. Now things that you say and you go back on, we're able to go back and show like, no, chica, that's not what you said before. Last time I checked, this is who you fought, because now it's available. Her saying that her Mercado is a bigger fight than Taylor is her saying, crap, I can't get this fight because I'm not that smart in my tactic. I'm fighting 2 weight classes below, thinking that if I become undisputed, chasing girls I know for sure I can beat, Taylor will give me a fight. That's not logic. It's stupid. So yeah. I think she's just trying to fool the fans and make the fight bigger than it is because it's not getting the reaction she expected.
Bueno, yo vi que ella criticó. Oh, I'm sorry, Mario.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yo vi que ella criticó a el Jake Paul when all of this celebrity boxing shit started. I saw that she was actually against it. Y después que cuando le ofreció una oportunidad, I know Jake Paul is serious. He's taking his training very seriously. Yeah. So for me, I want to root for her because she's from my city. I want to root for her. Y ella del Caribe. I want to root for her. But it's like Melissa said, that these days there's certain things that you cannot ignore. You like the truth is there. They're like, yo, dog, how is fighting Mercado bigger than Taylor? Si la gente que van a ver esa pelea son Jake Paul fans. Those is boxing fans? No. So how is this a bigger fight than that one?
Yeah, like for real. That's why I call her, fake deal Serrano. Like, stand by say, like, I don't care that you from Bushwick, because where I'm from, if we fuck with you, we fuck with you. But if we don't, like, don't come on my block. You can't sit on the stoop. You can't hang out.
El diablo.
Like, yo, just say you from Brooklyn. Don't claim Bushwick.
Yo, you trying to bear her Bushwick curse, V?
Melissa, Brooklyn, and Texas rep. So, and to lead into my next question, I just want people to understand a little bit more about Melissa. She is a 9-time national champion with Golden Glove wins in the state of New York and Texas. But it's not just her, amateur record, which was 89-22 to speak of. You also have fights in the professional and amateur ranks as MMA, and not to mention a very accomplished Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. I say all that to say this. We've seen women in MMA and boxing take a shift towards bare knuckle fighting. I bring it up because it is an option. It's money. It's real money. It's, tangible. What are your thoughts about competing in something like that? Is there room to add that to the mix of boxing and MMA that you already do?
Yo, I'm going to tell you right now, like, I get an offer to do bare knuckle boxing. I'm going to be like the longest reigning champion. They could give me a championship fight out the gate. Like, I don't need a training camp. I go back to the block. Like, start some
That's right.
Say what? Like, it excites me because I'm like, yo, I'm not going in there and boxing. I'm not keeping it tight. I'm going to go in there and I'm wilding on you. Like, we on the street. And
as good as dead.
Yeah, like, I'm going straight savage. Ain't no tactic. Ain't no taking my time and filling you out. Nah, when you get on that line and he says fight, you better not blink because I'm coming. Like, I would love that opportunity. So I know that I still need to build myself as far as like my fan base and my following, because with bare knuckle it's kind of different. It's not that it's just a popularity contest, but they're smart in how they put their women on cards where it's actually going to be competitive, and they're going to, fill seats and also fill those streamings.
Well, did you see Paige Van Zandt versus Rachel Ostovich, and what did you think about it?
I thought it was an evenly matched fight. I thought it was great. Yo, I think Rachel has some like beach brawls because I didn't expect her to step to her. And I think it's that mentality of I'm used to doing MMA where I have to worry about being taken down, submitted. But now I'm just fighting where I can just step to you. So she's used to being aggressive, but not having to worry about all these other things. I feel like she went out there and she was like, screw it, I'm going to show out. And she looked really good.
Yeah, yeah. Last question I got for you. All right. So Shannon, Shannon ain't gonna fight nobody. Like that's a given. Cause like yo, you fighting Jamie Mitchell. Nothing against Jamie Mitchell. God bless her, but it's not hard to see why you chose her. What about Luna? What about the other champions at the weight? What about a rematch with Ceci Roman? Is any of that being talked about, worked on, emails, faxes? Is any of that materializing?
Well, the last thing I was told, because as you know, I shared with everyone, I was open about my situation with my promoter. So I'm in the process of getting out that contract, but he's prolonging it for as long as he can because he's hoping I'll change my mind because he has a fight for me supposedly in October. And they're hoping that they can make a matchup against Stina Dorsland. But I hold what I'm told with a grain of salt at this point because I have been given so many different game plans that I don't know what direction I'm going in anymore. So I know that I'm not fighting unless it's for a world title fight. So I just recently signed with First Round Management. And I know that once we get the legal side of things squared away, they're going to be able to really focus on my boxing and I'll be able to get those world title fights because I'm out the loop right now, if I'm just being honest. But I'm staying ready. I'm maintaining so that if I do get an opportunity and I do get a call, someone contacts FRM, they deal with the promoter, get me signed off to fight. We'll make it happen. But you won't see me representing Signature Punch Boxing or being on any of their cards. So anything you see me posted about me fighting, I'm not fighting on that card.
So let me ask you though, with this current situation kind of in flux, I guess a little bit, if you want to call it that, would you be willing to, if you found yourself in a situation, to come on short notice or to jump into a situation? Would you do that? I mean, are you trying to just get in where you fit in and try to get that the world titles under your belt?
Most definitely, because one thing about me is I'm not naive. At least I don't think I am. I see things for what they are. So I'm not in a position where I can call out the top girls until they want to give me the opportunity because I've been in the game less than a year, but I've also placed myself in a position where I have the right to say I deserve a world title. I've now fought a current world champion and I won. I have fought for a regional title and I've won. I've also for the IBO, I won. I'm now one of the highest ranked women at Bantamweight, so I deserve a shot. When it comes to fighting Luna, it's so frustrating because she had a tune-up fight. I don't believe as a world champion, you should be able to have tune-up fights. But I put myself in a position that when I see they have these dates and I'm not on it, I'm staying ready because I don't mind being that last minute call because I know things will turn around once I get one of those 4 belts.
I got an idea. Lo que tú tienes que hacer, hago un video where you getting beat up and watch the phone ring. ¿Me entiendes? Yeah. Make like a fake video, get your neighbor, put boxing gloves on her. Yo, dame un trompón en la cara. And then put it out. G. Exactly.
That's
y
what
ahí
they would say.
Te van a llamar. Yeah, we want to use Melissa Oddessa for a title fight in November.
Well, you know
get
what?
That call real quick.
Yeah, but you know what? The problem is also that I have also this promoter who won't release my fight. How are people supposed to get excited who missed the pay-per-view if you can't even share highlights and you can't even post rounds to show how exciting I am? How are people going to connect with me and know what kind of fighter I am? I was on the card, co-feature, and I'm not even allowed a copy of my fight. I'm just baffled by this because I'm trying to find that missing connection to help grow my audience. But when you don't have the media, when you don't have the content, I'm not just going to start posting random stuff, for the clout. It has to make sense. So hopefully with more fights, it's about getting a fight where people are going to be able to see me fight, and highlights are going to be able to be posted, and they're going to be able to show like, yo, look at what she did. If people were able to see the last 3 rounds of my fight, right, they would be highly impressed because everybody was calling me a 4-round fighter. I gas out. I get hit with stuff. Yo, I did 10 rounds and I was proud of myself. Like, oh, it's on. I would have loved for everyone to see that.
Nah,
and people
they
need
must
to know
not.
that was a late minute replacement too. People need to understand that was not who you were, originally training for either. But
the
that's like
Ceci
so.
Roman fight too. Like they need to watch that. Like that fight is like yo, that was a good. Like I ain't kissing ass and that, but it's like yo, that was a dope ass fight.
Well,
like,
no, listen, Boxing IQ. Forget for a second, Melissa, what's right or what's fair. Let's just talk about what's smart. Like, how many people bought the Tank fight versus how many people saw his knockout on IG? Like, how many people saw what he was able to do on social media? Like, you're in a position as a promoter. Like, why don't you want that promote? Like, why don't you want people to see the kind of actions they can expect on your cards? But yeah, that's baffling to me. It's not even about who it is. It's about what they're doing.
He needs to go to Ring IQ Management where we can get a social media response. Like, all we need is a little bit of footage, and I'll use some music and some sound effects, and I bet you it'll get seen, you know what I'm saying? But yo no sé lo que está pensando ese tipo, because none of that is conducive towards, like, if he's trying to make it right for you, how is this trying to make it right? You're not even letting a fight out. You can't show nobody to fight. You cannot entice potential people to, like, yo, this is my fighter, Melissa Oddessa. She be beating the hell out of people. You're not doing none of that. And you're the promoter.
No, you're right.
And, it's honestly a control thing, because one of the things I like to do, like, for instance, on my Twitter, is I like to bring awareness to topics in women's boxing that I feel no one brings up. So whether you feel I'm wrong, right, and different, it's starting conversations. And one of the things I've also brought up is I really believe that if you've been a manager, you should not be allowed to be a promoter, and because manager to protect the fighter. Now you're a promoter, but you still have the mindset of a manager wanting to dictate and have control. So when you're honestly supposed to be the paper pusher and making sure everything's good and putting the card on and matching and, making sure things are good, instead you want to dictate camp, you want to dictate sparring, you want to dictate sponsorships, you want to have full control of so many different things, but you don't know how to separate promoter from manager. And that's why we had an issue, because some of the things I would tell him is that's outside of what you're supposed to be doing. And, unfortunately, I went along with it because he said, look, don't sign with a manager because what we have going is good. And sometimes too many hands in the pot is not a good thing. Me, I'm hearing what I want to hear, como un estúpida, because, I'm new to the pro game. I may have experience in the amateurs, but I'm still learning. And I bought it. Now I got a manager, and it's like, oh, no more taking advantage of me because you see money and you want to limit me to only being on your cards, which leads to another thing. Why are promoters allowed exclusive contracts? It's beyond me that some of these things are happening and we pay all these fees, but you have the sanctioning body, governing body. No one is creating some kind of union or meeting to start getting clarification on these issues so that boxing could be a little more fluid and we can grow that fan base we once had.
No, listen. Oh man, that statement is huge, because it's not just, it's everywhere. You know what I mean? Their athletes get taken advantage of on every level within the boxing game, the MMA game, even the wrestling game. At the highest level, they take advantage of the laws and the way they're shaped with promoters and fighters. So that's huge to say that. And yeah, I think that essentially what you're saying is, unfortunately, in the fight game, you have to kind of learn from your mistakes as you go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's taking time though from you as a fighter, time that in your prime and in your, you know what I mean. It's just taking time from you.
Yeah, and another thing is that I was gone for a while, so I came back into the loop. Kind of sola, doing it solo and trusting in people that I have personal relationships with, but that I know they always say, like, the closer you are to the person, the more likely it is you shouldn't do business with them. And sometimes, it is true, because like Andre Rozier and I, that's family to the day I die. We just don't connect well on a business level. Then we have this promoter where I'm looking at women's boxing and I'm seeing all these things of women sharing how they're going through this and they're going through that. I get a promoter who I tell him I'm interested in signing with someone else, and he actually flies out the next day and takes the time out, to show me how much he wants to sign me, and I'm hearing everything I want to hear. I'm thinking, it's been a 5-year layoff. I'm also in my 30s. Who else is going to give me this opportunity? Porque Melissa Oddessa doesn't exist to everybody. Unless you're in the boxing community, you really don't know of me. So here's somebody on the outside who sees my value, or at least made it seem that way. So when the pressure was put on me, mira, sign esto ahora, you got to sign it now, or the deal is off the table, I'm thinking, you know what, screw it. I could look over the rest of the contract later.
Mm-hmm.
Screw it, I don't have to get that lawyer. Screw it, I'm just going to sign because he's going to set me up for these world titles because that's what I want. But then once you locked in, that's where true colors come out. And it's all about, you're only going to fight on my cards, you're going to fight who I say, and all the things I said before. So that's why I'm sharing, because the Olympics is on. All these girls are going to be turning pro.
Yeah.
And they're going to be looking for management. They're going to be looking for promoters. In women's boxing, it's unfortunate, but we do need it more than the men's side because we're still building. If I can start a conversation or at least help one person where they're now aware and they know not to follow my path, walk away, stand up, know your worth. Okay, I got to sign right now? No. And that's the reason I'm being open and sharing. Because, I felt a little embarrassed at first, and then I was like, screw it. This is part of my journey. And it's only helped me be better. And who knows, maybe when I retire now, I become a manager or promoter. But right now, that hardware.
Yeah,
that's so big of you.
Odessa Promotions, yo. All right. And you got to get punched in the face when you sign a contract. To sign Odessa Promotions, they got to punch you in the mouth once you sign the dotted line.
Make sure you could take it.
I'll do it.
Well, yo, look, it was good talking to y'all. I got to go eat. I'm well hungry right now.
Hey, man. Thank you for coming on Boxing IQ. Give out your social real quick.
Ring IQ Boxing Talk here on YouTube. Ring IQ, I think it's Ring IQ on Twitter, and I know it's Ring IQ on Instagram. Look me up. I talk boxing and other stuff.
All right, man. You got a shout out too before you left from MTY. Melissa, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I do want to ask you though. I did see your son who looks exactly like you, like 100% like you. You're talking about the Olympics. You're talking about having this knowledge. Hey, what's up, man?
He just wanted to be able to say hi for the longest. So
he started
here, and he would just keep creeping over, and I'm like, move. And he'll keep creeping over.
What's your name?
Michael.
You a big fan of mom boxing? You watch her fights?
Yes.
Yeah. You ever been to one of her fights live yet?
No.
Not yet. You excited for that day though?
Yes.
What about you? You compete? Are you? Has he started boxing at all? Are you gonna let him?
Yeah. Bobby, go ahead, sit down. I let them kind of choose their sports, but they have to stay active. So he's into wrestling. He did a little bit of jits, but his biggest thing has been soccer. But with COVID, it took a pause, and then all the camps filled up quick as soon as.
Man.
So I'm just waiting to put him back in something.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, and it's funny too. Is like even like soccer has produced a lot of, high quality fighters. It's just something about the cardio and stuff like that. But yeah, that's awesome. The last question though I wanted to ask you, we talked about bare knuckle. We talked about, how you've, done Brazilian jiu-jitsu and, done a lot of stuff, wrestling as well. What about professional wrestling? That's something that I'm a fan of that has become much bigger over the past 5 years or so, maybe even last decade. We're starting to see athletes from cheerleading to bodybuilding to MMA all step into the ring. Ronda Rousey did it very successfully. Would you ever consider doing something like that? Is that something that ever sparked your interest?
Most
now or down the future?
I wouldn't say I'm a wrestling fan. I've been watching WWE recently, and it's become
cool.
a affair where now we watch every Monday night.
That's awesome.
I can't handle Friday nights also. I'm not like that into it.
Yeah, it's too much, right? Yeah.
But it has been exciting because for me, it's like a novela, but an active novela where you go at it and hit each other and slap. So I'm having fun following the storylines. So I'm always about opportunities that will open up through me fighting because I can't fight forever. So if I ever got an opportunity to do something like that, of course I would be open to it. And what excites me about it is they have something called the 24/7 belt.
Yes.
Like for me, like I would have so much fun getting that belt because I'm so competitive. So like the only thing I would want to do is just give me an appearance where when I'm like an undisputed champion and I'm on there, like I want that 24/7 belt.
That's what's up. Yeah, listen, and I wouldn't just by the way, Bad Bunny won that belt. Took it on SNL with him. He did WrestleMania this past year, and they let him win it in it's like a silly type of thing. But he actually performed really well at WrestleMania. But yeah, listen, I wouldn't just ask anybody that. The thing is that you have the mic skills. You have the physique to do it. That's a big part of it, whether people understand that or not. It's a huge part for men and women. The physique you got, but you have the mic skills. I don't think it would be very difficult to teach you or transform you into someone who speaks their mind openly and then has something prepared to speak your mind openly. You know what I mean? And so you have those mic skills. I think you would be good at it. But yeah, listen, thank you for joining us. Sorry about the time delay and all that, but I'm glad Brandon our producer worked hard to get you on. Please give out your social media for us.
Yeah, so you can follow me, Melissa Oddessa, on both Instagram and Twitter.
Awesome. And we'll definitely have you on as soon as you got something scheduled. We'd love to have you on and, talk about it.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Take it easy, Melissa. You have a good day.
You too.
All right. There you have it, Melissa Oddessa.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingvoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.